All right, we have coming up now our special guest, Miles Rahimi, who is coming to us from Oklahoma, and he's going to be telling us exactly why the deep state does not like veterans that support Donald Trump. Coming up, Miles Rahimi. We're standing by for Miles. Miles, where did you go? Did we lose Miles? There we go. All right, Miles, good to be with you. How are you today? You're coming to us as the communications director for Veterans Vets for Trump.
Media director, yeah. I wish I was here under better circumstances. This election has proved to be the most difficult for us watching the fake news just dispel our hopes in President Trump's victory, which is inevitable. But just to get to the point, Vets for Trump, once we realized that there would be multiple recounts, we deployed assets to various toss-up states because we know that the various GOP chairmen in the county and state level needed volunteers to help ballot watching and recount efforts. And so we wanted to deploy people to Arizona, Virginia, North Carolina, all of these various spots. And two of our wonderful veterans, Josh Macias, who he was actually a founder, now he's just a volunteer, and Tony Lamato went from their home in Virginia and went up to Pennsylvania in order to help out in Philadelphia. Well, apparently someone had made a tip to the FBI saying these two individuals were coming up there and that they were carrying a weapon, which they're both concealed carry holders in Virginia. And up until 2 years ago, there was reciprocity along the state lines. Well, they get there and we don't have the video because Joshua's.
We have the audio though.
We have the audio. And,
yes, let me roll the audio really quickly, Miles, so we can hear what happened, because it's really quite stunning today that the FBI would take this opportunity to target veterans who support President Trump that are just trying to volunteer their time to be poll watchers and have them arrested on charges and held in detention for 18 hours at this point. Stand by for the audio. Let's roll that.
To me, that this was a political detainment situation. Because they knew that, and that's when all the interrogation started, really. I wasn't even on deck maybe 30 minutes, everybody. So I was here, and 30 minutes later, all this started going.
Totally set up. Total setup,
right. Well, there was the AP, they were watching us, they had video of us arriving, they were surveillance on that stuff, and they had the APB out to look for us, and then they swooped in after I did the video.
I need to add in that there were some cars when I was doing all the driving. There was a couple trucks that got very suspicious. One behind me, one in front. They kind of came around. They looked at us. So right around Maryland, right before I got into the Delaware line, we were being watched.
Yeah, makes sense.
Incredible. All right, I think that's good. So you guys got a chance to hear Joshua Macias, who's the founding director of Vets for Trump, and we have as director of media and communications, Miles Rahimi, here with us this evening, talking about the fact that Joshua appears to have been targeted by the FBI because he was out there trying to do his civic duty, which is what we've asked all Americans to do their civic duty, and step in and do poll watching. There's nothing wrong with that, but yet we're seeing Republicans shut down and poll watching all over the country, and now this.
Well, and I think it's a little more nefarious than that, because once the FBI realized that it was just a simple misunderstanding that these individuals were there, they completely dismissed their interest in Joshua and Tony, and they were held for those several hours since last night by the district attorney, which his name's Larry Krasner, the same district attorney who in 2018 came on board in Philadelphia and fired 10% of his staff, and then opened a investigative system to look at past cases where they were unduly harshly punished. The same prosecutor who refuses to prosecute these peaceful protesters burning these businesses and rioting and looting. And so at 8 p.m. tonight, Eastern, he was brought in front of a magistrate, Josh Macias, and Tony is supposed to be going shortly thereafter. And they were asking for him to be remanded in custody on a third-degree felony charge of a violation of the Uniform Firearm Act and a conspiracy, which was apparently to have a concealed weapon, which I don't know how that works. But their bond initially was set up at $750,000, and the district attorney's office didn't like that, and so they asked for an emergency hearing so that they could increase it. And so we are, and this right here, if you see where Virginia removed in May of 2018 the reciprocity, I'm sorry, Pennsylvania rather removed the reciprocity. And so an individual traveling up and down the East Coast who lives primarily in Virginia, this is a Pennsylvania announcement. I wouldn't assume a law-abiding patriot would look at, every state if he was under the assumption that when this guy came in, he had none the wiser. But we need to raise money for the defense fund, because we've had to retain an attorney for these individuals. And then we have to raise bond money so these guys don't have to spend a weekend in jail. These guys were just doing their civic duty and offering their most valuable asset, their time, and going out of state to offer a help as volunteers with the recount effort. And they cited news article says, heavily armed individuals. They had under lock and key an AR-15 inside of a vehicle with a conservative sticker, I guess, or a far right sticker, what have you. And I have to ask, would that prosecutor have taken the same action if it was a Biden sticker? And the answer is no. It's because he's
Miles, how much are they holding it for bond for these two gentlemen, for Joshua and Tony right now?
As of right now, I only know the one of them going in front of a magistrate, which it was set at $750,000. But
wow.
They are asking for an emergency hearing thereafter, the prosecutor's office, because they want to raise it to $1 million. And so we're raising $205,000, $5,000 for the retainer, $100 for each of them to get them out so they don't have to spend more time in jail. And Susan, Josh's mother, who's watching this, I can't imagine the agony she's going through, because FBI showed up at her door at 1 a.m. this morning and asking her questions.
Miles, Joshua is a Navy veteran. Okay, I know Joshua, a good friend of mine. He's been at many Trump rallies, provided security for many Trump rallies. There's many pictures of him with President Trump. He's beloved by some of the folks close to the spiritual advisory board for President Trump. Good friend of this show, Lee Valentine, knows Joshua, adores him. I've been on many trips with Joshua. In fact, we were at the General Flynn hearing December 18th, 2018 together. He organized a huge event for General Flynn there outside the county court steps. I mean, I can't say enough about this patriot. Where can folks donate to help get these two gentlemen out of detention?
If you go to veteransfordonaldtrump.com, we've included a banner at the top of our page, and it links to a GoFundMe page. There are 700 or so watching on YouTube. I can't imagine so many more. Share this, get it out, help us, help those who put their life on the line and served our country. I got out of the Navy 6 months ago, as you know, and being position to have to advocate for my brothers and sisters, because they want nothing more than a fair election. And at the beginning of your show, it said America loves Trump. Well, America loves Trump because Trump loves unapologetically America, and we love America. We love the idea of it, and we just want to see fairness and equality all around.
Amazing. And this is such an incredible story, a travesty of justice. Travesty of justice. Miles Rahimi, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have it up on the Chiron, veteransfordonaldtrump.com. You can donate there. Appreciate you coming by. Please keep us updated on the story so that we can at least advise everybody when they have been released, hopefully sooner than later.
Share this and help us get this money to get these patriots out. Thank you, Ann, for giving me this platform. I appreciate it.
Of course. Our pleasure. All right, that was Miles Rahimi coming to us from Oklahoma about this dire situation where a Navy veteran has been apprehended and targeted by the FBI and detained against his will and with a ridiculous amount, $750,000 bond for him to be out. If they don't raise the funds, he'll spend the weekend in jail for trumped up charges and basically being targeted as a veteran who supports President Trump, just trying to do his civic duty and do poll watching. We're going to take a quick break and I'll be right back.